Marvel superheroes have gone mobile.
Download your favorite today.
Avengers Origins Assemble.
The Amazing Spider-Man, an origin story.
Avengers Origins The Incredible Hulk.
Available on the App Store.
For more amazing Marvel apps, books, and ebooks, visit marvelreads.com.
Marvel.
Welcome, dear listener, to our podcast. Jeff and Rick present Unpacking the Power of Power Pack,
where we journey through each issue of comics that include a member of the most underrated Marvel series from the 80s while drinking beer.
Analyzing awesome and amazing adjacent adolescent adventures and absorbing alcohol.
I am Jeff.
And I am Rick.
The bigger they random, the harder they banter. Random banter time, buddy. Talk to me, tell me tall tales and tantalizing tidbits of trivia today.
Talking about the falling down of one big zero?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I see what you did there. Nice, nice.
Yep, they fight a big girl.
They fight a big girl? Make her fall down, go boom?
Yep, she fell down harder.
Nice. Well, the past 2 weeks have been pretty much the same, more or less. Family got a little bit sick, but we're getting through it okay. I think the biggest thing for me right now is I'm on the lookout for the next thing I want to watch. My wife and I finally finished watching 6 Feet Under. We never watched that back in the day, so we finally sat down and watched all of it. That is one of the shows that's held up as having one of the best endings, best finales of all time, and I can see why. The finale of that is amazing. It's a journey, and when it hits hard, and you are feeling all the feels at the end of it. So it's a very well done finale.
I still have yet to see a single snippet of that show, so I can
throw it on your list of things.
I can say I'll throw it on my list, but I've got a lot of media on top of that list, and throwing I don't know how many season series on top of it is definitely not going to get it pared down at all.
It's only 5 seasons, but there are, I think, 12 episodes in each season, so it's not as
doable.
Bad of a run as some other things. So
No,
I finished that, and as far as reading right now, I'm going through Berserk, the manga Berserk. It is a thing to read. Actually, the artwork in it is quite impressive. Some of it's impressive, some of it's simple. I need to do some research onto what exactly happened, because there's sometimes in the book that the artwork is incredibly detailed, very detailed. And then you flip the page and it's like, did he get lazy?
Sketch. Yeah. Ran out of time. He was like, this isn't the important bit. Yeah, Berserk is another one that I have heard of. I have heard it is challenging. I have no real knowledge of it other than guts in the Berserk armor. He's got a big sword.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm getting through it. I'm on the first volume right now. I might pick up the rest of it. I like it.
Okay, that's cool. That might be something else I'll throw onto the ever-growing pile of various medias.
Other than that, though, I think that it's just a day in the life with the family. Oh, I did put up some new lights around my action figures to get some more light in the room of insufficient light.
I was going to say, the lighting looks better in there just from looking at you, which is good. Pan around and see, okay, a little something over there, a little bit of something.
A little something over there to light up and to highlight the action figures. Makes it look kind of nice. It's better than a wood-paneled basement.
Yeah. Hey.
What?
I'm in a wood-paneled basement.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. But while I'm here, I could recommend a little bit of media for you, something to watch.
Sure.
I am watching Fallout on Amazon right now.
I am curious about that. How is it?
Well, in the 2 20-minute sittings that I've been able to do over the past 2 weeks, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. I am liking it. I've been hearing really good things about it, and I am liking what I'm seeing, and I'm like, yeah, this is fitting pretty well into the Fallout lore. It's pretty nice. It's got a great opening in it with Walter Goggins. It's neat. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It is looking like a fairly faithful adaptation from the game stuff in a live action.
All right. Nice. I will put that into a possibility of things to watch. When I need to sit down and have a discussion about how we want to fill up our evenings while we try to get ourselves ready to go to sleep.
A friend of mine, actually, he's like, I'm not really familiar with the Fallout setting, and my wife knows nothing about it or video games. He was telling me, he goes, I really liked it, and my wife even really liked it. So you don't even have to have the game background of it.
That's good, because I don't want to spend the rest of my nights playing a game so I could mansplain it to my wife.
There you go. But you're gonna.
No, I'm really not going to. I've got better things I could be doing, and I don't think my wife would really appreciate that too much, so...
Yeah, because you already hammered that one home with X-Men 97.
Yeah, that's the one that I keep for that. And that's enjoyable. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, those are great. I'm digging on those.
All right. Then let's get into this book, shall we? Jeff, can you give us a 2-sentence replay of the last episode?
It's party time at Briggs' big business building to celebrate his refining of spin tech so that he can safely and quickly remove the ponderous powers of hazmat and metal after Vale shows them that it worked for her and that she can now live her life dissipation-free. But you had to know there was a catch, as Jeremy plans to remove the powers of everyone on Earth, just like he has removed the powers of all the Avenger Academy students that showed up to his trap. But don't worry, he'll return them to those who prove their loyalty to them. Now that our powerless heroes escape and now are playing the most dangerous game, 2-sentence replay is over, why don't you give me a beer and tell us what our power pack pick is?
My pleasure, my friend. That's a horrible accent, and I'm not going to get any better on it. Let me just say this. Good day. Good day, mate.
Good day.
Why don't you grab that bag and tell me what kind of beer you got there?
I'm going to assume it's an Australian lager, just from the spot-on Seth Meyers' Australian accent. We have That's Not a Knife, Down Under IPA, with AU Galaxy. Yeah, there's stuff there. That's Rick's spoilers things to do. It's Vice Beer. That's cute. That's got a Crocodile Dundee hat on it. It's got a nice sunset over the outback. It's got some kangarooing around. That's not a knife, she says, because of Laura has not knives poking out of her feet and hands, and coat of arms has many kind of different blades coming out of her coat arms.
Yeah, she this one picture I'm looking at here, she's got like 4 different knives, and like...
Yeah, she usually packs about 6 blades, but she's got 2 other things in her hands, so...
In recognition of our favorite character that we like to hate on, I decided to go ahead and give a That's Not a Knife tip of the hat to her.
I like that. Story time on the can is, it shows a QR code, and underneath it says, "Do not scan!" So I'm not going to fall for the trick. I'm not going to scan it.
A Down Under IPA is one with all Australian and New Zealand hops. We started with AU Enigma on the hot side, and then mega dosed this thing with AU Galaxy and NZ Matuka. The result is a big citrus and lime peel IPA that we're super stoked on. Watch for the double IPA version coming soon.
Here's what I got to say. This is citrusy. The nose on this is hyper citrusy. That has really got a lot of grapefruit going on that. It's got a nice little head on it. It is crazy hazy.
I want you to check out the amazing pour that I did on this.
Ooh, well, look at mine. I've got very narrow head on mine. You've got oh, that's right at the rim.
This is like
That's
the
impressive.
perfect beer pour right here. Just a little bit of a head right up to the top of the lip. And yeah, just absolutely perfect.
That is a stereotypical beer. When you think of what a beer pour looks like in like a comic book or something, or just in any type of media, that is what it is. That is the beer that you would refer to.
Yep.
Man, that smells citrusy.
All right. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to taste this right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a little sick.
Yeah, you got your illnesses
so
rolling.
The bitter notes are incredibly high on this one. I don't know if that's just me or not, but this is incredibly bitter.
To me, it's not incredibly bitter. It's got the grapefruit tart. So I think your sinuses and taste buds are a little messed up. So for me, this is just hyper citrusy. This is really grapefruity.
Yeah. I am not going to be able to give you any idea about what this tastes like or what this is like at all.
It's just going to be bitter for you. It's going to be a bitter beer.
It is absolutely bitter. I'm...
Let's see that old man face, bitter beer face guy.
I can't get past that. I can't get to any other notes of anything else this tastes like. So this is all on you, man.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Like I said, this has just got that citrus tart to it. That aftertaste is very Pine Sol Pledge kind of artificial pine. So there's definitely going to be kind of the IPA kind of juniper notes going on with the very ending. But yeah, the forefront of it is hyper citrus, hyper grapefruit. Not super bitter, just kind of a citrus tart.
Wow, I am getting absolutely none of that. None of that.
So it's a much more pleasant beer than you might be thinking right now, Rick. So sorry for you, but hey, pleasant for me. I'm enjoying this. This is a great citrusy summer kind of refreshing, moist feeling beer. This is a good hot weather beer. I'm liking it.
Now I just don't even know if you're messing with me or not. You could be.
The velvety chocolate notes and the licorice ropes and the fact that a unicorn comes out of it and grants wishes. Wow, what a beer.
Yeah, I did not get the unicorn in mine. Sorry.
Oh man, it must just be because your taste buds are messed up. A pot of gold? What a great beer.
Nope, nothing. That's just kind of sad. Okay, well, Jeff, it's your description of the beer that we're going to go with, so there we are.
There we go.
But while my taste buds may not be up to par, I think that my reading comprehension and speaking comprehension still should be enough to get me through this episode. So we'll find out after we get through the opening credits.
Avengers Academy, issue number 35, October 2012. Final Exam, Part 2. Credits. Writer, Christos Engage. Penciler, Andrea DeVito. Inker, Andrea DeVito. Colorist, Chris Sotomayor. Letterer, VC's Joe Caramonga. Editors, John Moisen, Bill Roseman.
Featuring Finesse, Hazmat, Lightspeed, Metal, Reptile, Striker, White Tiger, and X-23.
Being two men who spend a lot of time in their basements, I really am dismayed by the negativity shown by these kids. Sure, in order to escape the villain and thwart his plan, they blew a hole in the floor as a last resort and fell multiple feet through the floor, or floors below. But now they are all just complaining about how much pain they're in, how dusty it is, how it is so full of boxes of old comic books, random toys, dead bodies. Ugh, bunch of whiners if you ask me.
Your statement makes me think you have dead bodies in your basement.
I do not care for your accusatory tone, sir. This sounds like entrapment. Are you a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop.
Okay. We are going back to the issue now. Julie, being the only consistent flyer on the team, has had years of training about how to handle drops from large heights, and is the first to recover to shake the broken bodies of her fellow skydiving enthusiasts, Reptile, Finesse, White Tiger, and X-23.
Soon they are all up and ready to start bleeding out. Especially Laura. Now that she has no healing powers, her adamantium lace claws are starting to poison her, even though she has them extended.
Plus, falling.
As they are brushing themselves off, they hear the thooming of the size changer Big Zero working her way through the rubble towards them.
Thoom, thoom, thoom.
Big Zero is in radio contact with Coat of Arms and is complaining because she is on garbage duty.
Speaking of garbage, apparently Big Zero is a big ol' racist. Something that Coat of Arms reminds her that Jeremy is not a fan of. Or the fact that Big Zero's chatting is kinda interrupting her study of these magical artifacts that she got off a couple of these heroes.
Coat of Arms also reminds Tall Girl that Jeremy wants the Avengers alive, so if she has to kill them, make it look like she accidentally stepped on them or something.
Nice. Well, while moving rocks, Big Zero sees Laura's arm, and, well, you don't go messing with a scorpion when its tail is out, you know?
Big Zero takes some claws to the foot and a finesse to the face from Finesse throwing her body at the giant.
This results in more foot damage to Big Zero from a follow-up clawing and some serious punches to Laura and Jean for their troubles.
The rest continue to run away and rely on Finesse to do some flippy flips into the giant's chin, knocking her down while the other three tumble some debris on her, knocking her out.
Okay, one baddie down, but the team has suffered more injuries. So, it's time for the next plan.
Reptile wants to get them out of the building, but Julie is the planner, the thinker, the movie lover. She thinks that she should bring the fight back to Jeremy and take their powers back.
I see your thought process. It looks like they're dead, so they have surprise on their side.
Yeah, and this is nothing more than a Nakatomi Tower, and they are all John McClane.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother!
Speaking of which, in the penthouse suite, Jen and Ken are having a touching moment.
Smooth transition.
Thanks. They are spending time enjoying each other, not being monsters, and just staring at each other.
This nice moment is interrupted by Jeremy, who I guess was just standing there watching them this entire time.
Creepy!
Amazingly, this is really not his fault. They just forgot he was there. But that is okay. He wants these two lovebirds to just have some time alone with each other while he continues to hunt down their friends who escaped, make sure he is successfully brainwashing the others, and preparing to take down a few remaining powered Avengers after they inevitably knock on his door after he releases Clean Slate later tonight.
And their response, yeah, right, whatever. Now go away so we can smooch.
Jeremy checks in on Stryker, Dust, and the Enchantress and gives them the highlights.
Why would Jeremy give these three a children's magazine that's often found in a dentist's office?
Well, Stryker is a goofus, Dust really likes the crafts section, and the Enchantress will spend an entire day working on the riddles.
Did you just take my joke and throw it back in my face like a pie?
If you are wearing whipping cream, then the answer is yes. Back to this book, though. Jeremy is emphasizing the need to follow the plan. Jocasta is locked down for now, but she could always get unlocked and warn the adults. Then they would no longer be a hidden picture.
Speaking of getting off track, the Enchantress is enthralled by Stryker and his ability to get her an opportunity to be on a commercial.
Hello, you are the weakest link.
Yeah, Brandon wants to get his powers back, but Jeremy says that it's not his time yet. He needs to earn it. For now, he needs the three of them to work on their press statements, to sway over the common man to their side. If you're going to sell something, you need spokespeople with a good Q rating for the PR.
While the Enchantress practices her from a small town speech in the window, Brandon has a chat with Maddie. He's trying to find out if she's on board with all of this madness.
Dust is still seeing the downside of superpowered shenanigans. Big fights, people die, but, well...
The Enchantress wants Brandon to help her rehearse her lines, sending out more cues that she is really not the brightest bulb on the tree. And Brandon uses this to ask her how exactly Jeremy gets the powers turned back on.
The Green Enchantress would love to tell him, but she is also wary. Is Stryker trying to trick her?
No, of course not. And to prove it, he relates the really empathic story about how his powers came to him at the lowest point in his life. And it was like waking up. If his powers are gone, then maybe it was never meant to be for him, and he was never that special after all.
Oh, wow. He cannot possibly be lying or manipulating the Enchantress, because the story he told is exactly her experience with her own life.
Huh. What a coincidence. Well, let's let that plot simmer and check back in on our broken poppets. They're sneaking up the stairs, avoiding cameras thanks to Finessa's skills and her stack of shuriken. They are looking pretty rough.
Ava stops them and says that she can feel her amulets. This must be the floor for magic, enchantments, and menswear.
Jean and Julie run up a few flights of stairs to take out some more cameras and to try and throw the bad guys off their trail. Ava is looking really kind of shaken at this point, though.
Being away from the amulet is affecting her, something that looks an awful like drug withdrawal. And Ava is really questioning why she is doing this at all, as her brother had given up on being the White Tiger due to these dependency issues, and would never have wanted her to take up the methadone mantle.
Humberto gives her some encouragement and focus. She can do whatever she wants, as long as it is important to her. Laura, meanwhile, is just slowly dying in front of them from heavy metal poisoning and internal injuries.
Her main takeaway from all of this is her thinking about all the things she has never done, that she will now never be able to do. Oh, so this is what my victims must have felt like.
She also points out that Jeremy is making choices for people, making them experiments and feeling like property. That has been done to her before. She does not like it. No, not one bit. She swears that she will live long enough to leave Jeremy a 0-star review on Yelp.
Well, like magic, Jean and Julie have returned and are ready to get back the magic jewelry for their friends. So they kick open the door to the magic lab, and they get magic shocked by the magic jacket lady.
Coat of Arms has been having some tea and crumpets with the two magical artifacts, and has apparently learned that they are not happy with their former owners. So now it is time for the kids to die, so that she can adopt the trinkets and give them a new forever home.
Meanwhile, in the green room,
home of the fighting actors.
Stryker has successfully rolled his persuasion checks and convinced the Enchantress to nab some antidotes.
Yeah, she did a spell and pulled a vial from the past when the super secure vault was being opened so that Big Zero could get her powers back. Stryker takes a half dose and gives Sylvia a hug and says, "Thanks, you're a real good kid."
She is really happy that Brandon did not backstab her right then. She is glad that he did not double-cross her.
And then he double-crosses her by giving her a small shock to the brain. Because, he's Brandon, and that's what he does.
He offers the other half of the vial to Dust, who refuses, because she learned how to say no to drugs. And she does not want her powers back. She just wants to wear the sick uniform.
Zit.
That would be the sound of Stryker's powers turning on him as Jeremy upped the salt level in the sweat of the electric user. You see, Jeremy was expecting this betrayal, and he was ready for this, so it is time for the torture to start.
Dust is not really into this, so she grabs that vial and exits the room and heads over to the champagne room. I mean the couple's room.
Amazingly, Jennifer and Ken have their clothes on, but they're not giving any room for Jesus.
Dust provides a quick exposition dump and offers up the vial, which has a couple of hits left. There needs to be 2 heroes.
Jennifer offers to shove the vial up.
Whoa there, cowboy.
No, Jennifer's angry. Her and Ken finally have the opportunity to be normal again. Why would they want to be heroes?
That's right. Most normal people are selfish and cowardly, and would rather run away from the burning building. That is the life that Jennifer wants.
But not Ken. He grabs the vial and simply says that he'll do it, as they are his friends and they need help.
Dang it, Ken! Stop being so noble.
There's a mushy scene where they tell each other how they feel, and then Ken takes a swig.
Before Dust can take the other dose, Jennifer grabs the vial. She's more powerful offensively than either of these two, and takes the hit for the team.
Now, for Jennifer, the radiation kicks back in right away, denying her that last kiss with Ken that she really wanted. So, she heads out of the room and tells the others to find her containment suit. Ken is still not changing into his metal form, though.
Yeah, whatever. I'm more interested in Miss Half-Life USA walking down the warping and melting and smoking runway, looking to have a little chat with Jeremy.
To be continued!
But for now, let's spend some time talking about this lovely front cover of this book, shall we?
Yeah, it has words on the top of it, and I'm not going to read them, because I'm illiterate, except for comic books and other books, and subtitles. I guess I could read them.
Well, good for you, this is a comic book, so why don't you read it and describe the cover?
On the very top, it has a black bar that says Final Exam Part 2 of 4, so we're on the countdown for the end of this. It is a pretty neat cover. It is kind of a broken, fallen down white tiger with her mask off, like reaching out for her amulet, which is on the floor in front of her, not connected to her. And she's in front of a brick wall that has a tiger, black outline tiger stencil going on behind it. It looks really neat, and it's kind of a sickly yellowish green kind of color glowing off of the amulet. So it gives it a really kind of like nauseous coloration of all the brick and white tiger and everything. So it's interesting because it could be like, oh yeah, this is kind of a little white tiger, awesome looking cover. It's a really great looking picture of everything going on with it, with the graffiti behind her and everything. But it could be white tiger laying on the ground, broken because, oh yeah, she's had her powers taken away and she's been crushed by a building and everything, so she's broken that way. Or it could be kind of symbolizing like your street junkie who's broken on the floor, kind of desperate for their fix, which is always just out of reach. So she has a look of either beaten down to be broken or drugged down and withdrawal to be broken.
I'm seeing it more in the drugged out and withdrawing type of a thing. And what you probably don't really see, I'm looking at the cover itself and it's a little bit more detailed. The necklace is actually broken. So there's a couple of beads that are in the front and she's got one end of the broken necklace in her hand. So that's another piece of it too.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, I can't see that quite as well.
Yeah, a little bit Crime Alley, I guess.
It's Crime Alley with the old pearls. It's somebody's origin story.
I was more thinking of the fact that it's overused, or if that she's trying to break the habit, or it's broken and she can't use it anymore. There's a few more layers that get added to that with there too. So I like the cover. I think it's good. I think
it's a good cover.
It talks about one tiny little aspect that they just talk about in a couple of panels, but it's good.
It's also neat to see White Tiger get a little bit more screen time in something other than being like, you have to be a Hispanic representative of the superhero community, and I'm doing this for my brother. Whereas in this, she's like, I don't have drug withdrawals, because like Humberto's talking to her, it's like, you're looking kind of shaky, like, and she's like, what, like I have drug withdrawals? It's not that! He's like, well, I wasn't saying that. She's like, no, my brother had said that. That's one of the reasons that he had quit being White Tiger, is because the more he would use the amulet's powers, the less of him there was. So that was part of the reasons that he retired it.
Yeah.
And then she takes up the mantle and she's just like, my brother would be furious with me if he knew that I had taken this up, because this is not what he wanted for me or my life. And that's the truth. So who am I? I say I'm doing it for my family's memory and for him. But if they wouldn't have wanted me to do this, who am I doing it for? Is it just me? So yeah, it's interesting to see the self-reflection on that and a little bit kind of like the darker side kind of pop up and her kind of admitting some things.
I guess it brings it up to, what is it to be a hero? Because we've got a few different times in here where we have people who are finally getting what they wanted, that their powers are being taken away. And they know that that things are going sideways, that Jeremy's got these ulterior motives, but what is it to be a hero? And I think that's one of the themes that Gage is really kind of trying to look at with this book, and this cast of characters that he's been working with for 35 issues.
Yep.
Are they heroes? Have they learned how to be heroes? Is this a life that they want to continue on or not, even when they're given a choice? It's not a great choice because here's somebody who's doing things for bad reasons, but it gets them out of this life that they don't want to be in.
Yeah, it is kind of along the lines of being a hero is self-sacrifice, but how much self-sacrifice do you need to be doing when it's just all it is doing is costing you? You know, it's like Dust. If Dust becomes a hero again, she'll dissipate in a handful of years. She will just cease to be. You know, Metal will be touchable but unfeeling. Hazmat will be untouchable. It will not be able to lead normal lives. It is for these heroes, their heroism is a curse. Yeah. And their dream was to be shed of it, to be free of the burden and curse of being empowered and having people feel that they need to be heroes because otherwise they're going to be villains and be even worse.
It leads us to the different reactions that each of them have over the predicament that they're in. I'm actually really impressed with Julie and seeing her standing up and being a bit of a leader in this.
Oh, big time. She, not to spoil anything for the future, but she is pure leadership potential right here. She's in charge. It is her and Finesse.
Finesse hasn't really lost all of her powers.
She has all of her previous skills and knowledges. She just cannot absorb more.
Right. So she's okay. Julie doesn't have to rely on her powers. And this is something where you and I, in our own history with these characters, we can really look at Julie and say, yeah, this makes sense. She's grown up with her powers, but she's also gone through times when this wasn't her power. Right. And she had different powers as her family switched them around. So it's not that she necessarily needs to rely on them. Also, her powers are very specific and very located. She can fly. That's what she can do. Beyond that, everything else she's had to do, she's had to rely on her own strength and her own athletic ability. Losing the power of flight is not necessarily a detriment to her.
No, her heroism was never defined by her powers. Her heroism was always empowered by herself, by her being, by her personality, and by her knowledge.
Yeah. We've already talked about White Tiger and her withdrawing from using the magic amulet. Umberto's got his own issues with gaping hole in his chest where his power was ripped out. Laura is suffering because without her powers, it's killing her.
Yeah.
And then you've got, Stryker, who he wants his powers and he doesn't rely on them, but they have become a part of him and he wants them back and he is willing to use what he does and who he is in order to get them. And then Dust is Dust.
Yeah, Dust is Dust and Dust makes Dust choices.
Yeah. And of course we have Hazmat and Metal and their entire little love. This is what they've wanted. They have fallen in love with each other. They have the shared common goal of not having the powers interrupt their lives. Their powers make them untouchable. And as you said before, now they're in the position where they can actually be together and touch each other and be with each other.
Yeah, and be amongst other people too.
Oh, they don't care about other people now.
Well, yeah.
They got a couple days to get by that. They got other things they want to do.
It's just the aspect of Jen wants the normal life. She wants the day-to-day. She wants to not stand out in a crowd.
Yeah. We've got them all kind of in this predicament. What do you think of Hazmat and Metal, though, about how much they are just wrapped up with?
Oh, they are. Well, he's basically the only one that can be with her, around her, just hanging out, just lounging when she's in repose, when she's not in her hazmat suit. So he can be there when she's just at ease. But he's still made of osmium. He's made out of living metal. It's just like, yeah, she can't hurt him, but he has teeth. He doesn't have lips to kiss. He doesn't have comforting warm arms to wrap her in. He's a Frigidaire. And you can love your Frigidaire, but it is still going to be a hardship for you in that regard.
We don't have time to really get into that therapy session about you being in love with your Frigidaire. Let's go ahead and move on to talking about Brandon and his acting.
No, we need to discuss my love of my refrigerator. I love her. No, she is amazing.
No, I really don't want to. Let's talk about Brandon and his acting. This is what he does.
He's on point with this acting.
He's always been like this. He's always kind of shown a selfish nature. It just happens to be that his selfish nature is perfect for this backhanded manipulation of somebody who can be manipulated.
Oh, quite easily. But this seemed like some of the best acting that he has ever done.
Yeah.
This is elevating him out of the Amphibian 5 script that he burnt up. This is showing he actually does have the acting chops. I think spending time with Julie has done him good.
I don't know if it's necessarily acting, but it's definitely the manipulation and seeing an opportunity and using that persuasion elements of his character. He comes across as a good-looking, charming individual, and he uses that for his purpose.
And relating to people and telling them what they want to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not my idea that you cast a spell to get me a cure. It is your idea. I just happen to be here telling you my history, which strangely paralleled your own. And it was kind of neat because he was remorseful about when it upset the brain electricity on her, because he was like, no, thank you. You're a good kid. You're a sweet one. You're good. Thank you for this. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did this to you. I'm having to do this to you. So there wasn't maliciousness or anything in his actions. It was just, I needed to manipulate you. I now need you out of the way. I want to do it in the least crispy bacon version possible.
Well, also you realize, too, that if you tried any frontal assault, she would have stopped it. So the only way to make sure that the wizard doesn't get their death curse on you is to make sure that it doesn't look like they are going to die.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Harry Dresden.
So, all right. Any other things you want to bring up in this book?
Humberto kind of faded into the background and really became, cause Julie stepped into the leadership position, and since he's kind of team leader or class leader, he really kind of fell down. Because, they're making the plan. It's like, okay, here's the plan they're going to do on Big Zero. And immediately he's like, we got to go help Lauren. It was Julie that was like, we stick with the plan. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So he kind of gave a little pep talk to White Tiger after her withdrawal speech. But he was even saying, he goes, I've been a fraud this entire time with all my powers and saying all the things that I'm going to do. And I haven't done any of them. It's just like, you're not a waste, Ava. I'm a waste. I've wasted my potential. So it's kind of interesting to see him kind of be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not really all that. I need to do better. And I thought that was interesting. But he really kind of stepped down and kind of faded into the background.
I've never been massively impressed with him, so...
I get it.
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's neat. I like his power set and everything.
Well, that's just because you are a child and like dinosaurs.
And giant robots.
Okay. Let's talk about the Gallery of Greatness then. What piece of art in this book needs to be pinned to our, rubble of walls because we've lost a floor? Jeff.
There's probably a fridge in the champagne room.
Okay, let's move on. Jeff, backup joke one. Mine is what I like to call eat knee, and this is where Finesse is kneeing Big Zero right in the chin. You got Finesse just jumping up Big Zero's big old girl and just knee to the chin. Gotta love it.
That's my top favorite. That's not even a joke. I called it sweet chin music. Yeah, absolutely love that. I think it's a great piece of art. It's funny, but yeah, you think it's a backup joke. I think it's top art. So it's on page 6 of Marvel Unlimited.
It made me laugh. All right, my talk joke one is when the kids come back down to the magic room and they go in and they kick open the door. And so you got this scene. It's kind of at a Dutch angle. Laura and Julie high kicking these doors open. And I just have to ask, what did those doors ever do to you?
They were placed in a dramatic fashion for action.
I mean, they come in, they kick the doors open. They could just open them. It's fine. They could have. They just
violence of action, man. It's the Marine motto. It's just go, 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 go. Do it, do it, do it. But okay, so you've done both your jokes. I've told you what my top one is. But let me do my backup joke one.
Mm-hmm.
And it is on page 16, and I call it Who Wants to Do Some Drugs? And this is Enchantress after she'd cast the spell and pulled a vial of the cure or the antidote from Out of Time. And it's just kind of, I just see her looking like a drug pusher, like, I've got drugs. Who wants them?
I've got the pretty drugs. Do you want the drugs?
And in response to that, my top joke one is on page 19, and I call it I'll Do It. So this is, I just tied the two together because this is Ken taking the half vial of antidote from Vale, and he just says, I'll do it. And Jen's all, no! So I just made my own little joke drug narrative, which wasn't quite really there, but it was just flat funny to me.
Just say no. Just say no.
Exactly. That's what Jennifer said.
All right. My backup good art is, she may be ridiculous, but she's also kind of cool.
Coat of arms, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, 4 arms, just standing there with 3 blades, some kind of cudgel thing.
She's got 4 blades and 2 magic artifacts of the heroes.
One of the blades is kind of like a half cudgel thing, kind of.
It's a weird one. That one is kind of like New Zealand Maori, kind of like punch popper that they had,
something like that.
Weapon.
And then she's got the other 2 things there, but she's just there. Bring it! I can cut you. So yeah.
My backup best one is the very back page. It's a splash page, and I call it, and they call her Hall Walker.
Nah, mine for that one, because it's my top good art, is she's radioactive. Radioactive. I like that. Imagine Dragons, baby. She's radioactive.
Yep. No, that's fantastic. I was going off of Doom Riff and just changed it to Hall Walker instead of Hell Walker. So,
what's your top one?
I told you it was on page 6.
Right.
It was Sweet Chin Music. It was when Finesse knees Big Zero in the chin and down she goes.
All right. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I just kind of thought you were just a smug little art school snob. Oh, we're talking about rubber and glue moments. That's from Big Zero and smug little art school snob.
That's my top one. It's on page 4. It's Big Zero's complaining to Coat of Arms because she's having to dig through the rubble to try and find the people. Coat of Arms is all, hey, I'm trying to work on these magical artifacts, which is a little more difficult to do than moving some rocks. So, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid art school snob is Big Zero's thing. Her follow-up response on that, too, is like, maybe some rubble's gonna fall on you and kill you, too, later, Coat of Arms, so...
What is your backup?
My backup one is on page 15. It is after the team kicks open those doors that did nothing to deserve that, and they're all like, go, grab the... Zzz. Her response is both an energy attack and also, you are all so dense. I just like their actions were met with immediate repercussions, and you were all so dense. She's just like, God, you guys are stupid. Just dumb.
See, my top one is near the beginning of the book, and it's when they've not taken out Big Zero, and they're getting ready to go on this offensive, and Julie is doing this nice little talk, everyone's morale going, and she ends it by saying, we're going die hard on these jerks.
Yep, and we're all John McClane.
We are going die hard on these jerks. I like that one.
It's a good one.
Absolutely puts you in a mindset, and of course, Julie knows what die hard is. All right. Let's talk about Parent of the Year Award, Reed Richards Award for good parenting, and guess what? There are no parents in this book. So, let's get creative. Mm-hmm. Who do you think is the parent in this book?
Well, I'm going to give the Reed Richards Award in the, Reed, what are you doing? And I'm going to give it to Jocasta. She's an adult. She's a parent. Where's she at right now? Oh, I'll tell you what she's doing. She's taking her ease in China. She's not here. She just abandoned ship as soon as it all started going bad. I don't care if you say that Jeremy just rebooted her system and kicked it into the Chinese office that he's got and locked her down. No, where's Jocasta? What a bad parent she is.
Really stretching there.
I know. It's all I had, man. I was trying.
Check this one out for size.
Mm-hmm.
I am also going with the negative award, and that is to Jeremy, because he is nothing more than a creepy dad holding a kegger party.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look at him. He's going from room to room, just kind of like, hey, what's going on in this room? You guys are making out. Well, will you continue to do that? Hey, what's going on in this room? Hey, you guys are all doing drugs. Okay, cool. Check it easy. He's a cool dad, or the creepy dad giving the kegger party. That's what he's doing.
That was kind of the thing, too, because when he leaves the making out teenagers, he's like, hey, take the next couple hours to do whatever you want. Hey, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And here's a hint. It's a lot, you know?
Jeez.
I'd do a lot. It's just like, yeah, creepy old man.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Jeremy is the parent on this one, and he is not being responsible.
No, I think you made a good choice. I could totally go for Jeremy on that. Good job.
Thank you. Let's talk about popular and shunned. Identify the character who was the best and worst in the issue. My worst was Dust.
I could see that. I fully see that. I thought about that.
Just do something.
She ran away and brought a vial of cure to the lovebirds.
She's like, you guys do it. I don't want to do it.
She eventually was. She was going to do it, and then...
But she had to be convinced to do it. I mean, she's really good at running away from the problem.
Yes.
That's what she does.
Like I said, when I went through and I read all the previous issues prior to the 19 that we didn't read prior to our coverage, the summation of it is Dust makes bad choices. And she kind of stuck with that. She's kind of wishy-washy. She doesn't have really strong resolve, and she kind of just makes bad choices in what she does.
Well, I think she could be the patron saint for both of us. But let's find out who your worst character is.
Mine's pretty stupidly easy. I'm going to go for Big Zero. She wants to kill our student heroes. She's grumbling about it. She's a big old racist. And the aspect of it, too, where she's like, yeah, I better be able to kill at least one of these kids after I find them. Hopefully the Mexican one. And it's like, whoa. Big Zero, Jeremy doesn't like that kind of talk. You know that. And she's like, I don't want to kill him because he's Mexican. I want to kill him because I don't like his face. And it's like, is this because his face is Hispanic? Is that why Big Zero?
When you are on a team of villains and the other villains think that you are too evil, that's
just
a problem.
Gross. Yeah. It's like, I get villainy, but you're just kind of scuzzy. I don't really care for you.
Let's talk about best. And I think that there's a few different contenders for here, and I think I know who you chose. Yep. But I'm going to tell you that I'm going to give it to Ken.
Mm-hmm. He stood up.
He stood up at the end. And he is the one who's like, I don't know. I think that on some levels, he actually has it worse than Hazmat.
Mm-hmm.
Hazmat, yes, nobody can get close to her, but there are individuals like Metal who could handle her radioactivity. And that she would not be directly affected by it. That in mind, there is other people that she could potentially touch. It's a smaller number. Metal can't touch anybody.
Well, he can. He just has, again, he's a Frigidaire. So
this is his form. He is Colossus 24/7. And that's a level away from other people that can't be taken, that can't be fixed. And he is in a position now where he's human, where he doesn't have that. And he's like, okay, nope. I want to go ahead. I want to be Metal because I have to be there for my friends.
Yep.
That's a hard level of a sacrifice right there.
He's giving up blinking.
Yeah.
He doesn't have eyelids. He has orbs in a skull. Yeah, he doesn't have lips. There's a lot of things that he is giving up.
Tell me why you think Julie's the best.
She's awesome, and she's Julie, and she totally picked up that leadership mantle and wrapped it around herself, leadershiped other people into submission, and just came up with all the plans. And also, she's a real John McClane.
Well, I cannot really disagree with that so much. So let's go ahead and get into top grades. Let's evaluate this issue against the other issues with a member of Power Pack in them. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and tell me where we are at with our list right now?
Well, in place number 1, we've got the probably never going to go anywhere Fantastic Four, issue number 588, Month of Mourning. In position number 10, we have Avengers Academy number 22, which is where Magneto and the X-Men showed up, and then they fight because that's what people do. In position 20, Avengers Academy number 28, Homecoming Part 2, and that's the flashback episode. In position 30, Fantastic Four Volume 1, Issue number 1, The Club, and Sadness Abounds, the Fantastic Four rebrand with a spider. In 40, we have Fantastic Four, Issue number 16, One Step Beyond, rebuild and rebrand after the Celestial fight. In position 50, Avengers Academy, number 25, Class Reunion. Everybody fights hybrid, that's it. And in our final spot, in spot 61, is Loners, Issue number 3, What Lies Beneath, where Julie is in the hospital and everyone finds out nothing.
I'm looking at this list, and this is fine. It's just setting stages for everything else that's coming. There's nothing too profound in it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see it going above the issue prior. So that's going to put it somewhere in the 30s or 40s.
Not better than the previous one, the Final Exam. So how far down does it go? Well, there's Franklin's birthday. That's always a great landmark.
No, let's go down a little bit lower than that.
Okay.
Runaways number 1 in spot 37.
Mm-hmm. True Believers.
Yeah, I think this may be just below that one. That one's a good setup issue. It's getting things going. I think that's got a little bit more meat than this one does.
You know what? I'm absolutely fine with that. It can be the new 38.
Yeah, let's make that nice and simple there.
We'll make issue number 35 the new 38. Sounds great.
All right. So, Jeff, tell me about this beer, because I still am drinking it, and unfortunately...
Yeah, you've barely touched it. You're not getting much of anything out of it. It smells real citrusy, looks real nice.
Nope, I'll take it back. I am now tasting rusted metal, so...
Oh, that's a lateral move. Little lateral shift there.
Yeah, it means I can taste the hops. But
Okay.
I can't taste any minutia of flavor there.
I've had enough where the kind of grapefruity citrus is not overpowering me at the beginning. It's just smooth. It's refreshing. It's nice. The aftertaste isn't as piney. So everything has kind of muted as my taste buds have been saturated by this flavor. Not real bitter. It's not making me screw up my face. I'm not questioning my life choices with the flavor of it. I find it to be fairly consistent in its flavor. I'm enjoying it. I would drink a bunch of these given the chance. If I was just sitting around, I would crack these open and drink them. This is a good 4 for me.
Huh. I feel really bad that I can't taste it. I'm going to go ahead and match you on the 4 just because I'm going to have to take your word for it.
Yeah, we usually are pretty close. We're usually within a half of each other or right on each other. So I think that you would enjoy this one. I think this has notes that you would really appreciate if taste buds weren't all out of skew right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I wish I could give you more on that one. Before we start recording, I had a nice bowl of soup, chicken noodle soup that my wife had made, and in order to get some flavor on it, I cranked up a lot of black pepper in there. I could taste the black pepper, and that was good. But
yeah, sometimes that happens where you're just like, I'm out of commission with my tastes and my smells, and I'm not feeling good, and it's just whacked out. But you know what's not whacked out? That would be kids' perspective. And that's where Rick talks to his 13-year-old daughter, Carrie, about the issue that we just covered. So Rick and Carrie, take it away.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Daddy.
How are you doing today?
Okay, and you?
I'm doing pretty good. We are just here to talk about another comic book. And in the spirit of this comic book, have you been studying for your final exams?
There is no final exams. I'm sorry to break it to you. I don't think that thing happens till like high school or 8th grade or something. I don't know.
Well, I hate to tell you it, but you've got an exam right now because you got to tell me what you thought about this comic book, what you understood this comic book. So that's an exam.
Oh shoot, that was an exam. I forgot to take notes.
You never take notes. I was
No, I
tell
hate
you
notes.
you should take notes, but you never take notes.
No, notes are
But how do you know which character you like the most in this book that we read today?
simple. Me.
Oh, come on. Which character did you like in the book?
I have no idea.
Which character did you hate in the book?
Jeremy Briggs?
He's an easy one to hate. I think there would be another person to hate. What'd you think about Big Zero?
Big Zero, yeah, I was getting there. The racist one, mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, she's pretty racist. What did you think about the character of Coat of Arms?
She's got a lot of arms.
Do you think it's kind of a silly power, or do you think it's kind of cool?
I mean, I feel like I've seen it somewhere, but it's okay, it's cool. It's, multiple arms.
What would you do with multiple arms?
Well, I have no idea. I guess I could draw with one, write with another. I guess I could read a comic book. Yep.
But you only have one pair of eyes. How would you keep track of what all of your different arms are doing?
See, that's when I'd practice.
So right now with your 2 arms, you can draw with one arm and you can pet a cat with another?
Yeah, watch me.
Can you cook a meal with one hand and
No.
cut the grass with the other?
Listen, I can't even cook a meal with 2 hands, okay? That's asking a bit much out of me.
Okay. What about the book in general? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What'd you think overall?
It was okay. The last panel was pretty cool, with Hazmat looking terrifying.
Well, Hazmat just got her radioactive back on, right?
Yup, because she's radioactive. Okay.
I
We're
made
not gonna
that same
listen to me
joke.
singing.
I made that same joke. That was a very cool scene. That was a very good picture. Kind of caught your interest, or did you have questions about?
The girl, Sylvie, the one who's, I'm guessing, the Enchantress,
Mhm.
sort of?
Yeah.
She seemed kind of like not that evil.
Oh, she's evil. I think she's just a little ditzy.
Because normally, when I was like reading comic books with the Enchantress in it, which is honestly, now that I think about it, not at all, but normally when I hear about the Enchantress, she's like cool and menacing and scary, and that's not her.
This is a different Enchantress. This is not
Okay.
the Enchantress. This is just an Enchantress who looks exactly like her,
A clone?
but it's not her.
Clone?
It's another Asgardian. I'm not entirely sure, but she's not the real Enchantress.
I'm just like, there's clones everywhere, so I'm sure it's some sort of
Sure, we'll call it a clone.
that thing.
We are in the middle of the story. What do you know right now about it? We knew that the first issue, the kids lost their powers. What are the kids doing now?
now, well, half of the group is trying to get their powers back, and they're trying to stop evil and stuff. The other group is kind of just sitting around lounging, and then Stryker's like, I don't want to do this, and he stabs his temporary friend in the back. Not like actually, but zapping after he gets his powers back from this little syringe bottle thingy-majiggy, and then he starts getting zapped. And then, as Vale describes it, it smells like bacon, which I hated that so much. And then Hazmat and Metal decide to also drink the stuff in the syringes and get their powers back. And then,
After they stop kissing, because that's mostly what they did in this issue.
That's basically the most productive thing they've done, is actually stop kissing. I'm so proud of their accomplishment. But, you can't really blame them because they never really got to do it before. But also, can you save it for another time, please?
Well, apparently not, because their time with not having powers seems to be at an end, so...
Yeah, it was very short, actually.
Yeah, they had to kind of put it all into that little short amount of time they had.
There's a few panels where they just weren't there, so I'm sure they were just kissing off-screen. I don't know.
Anything else really stand out on this book for you?
I don't think so. Oh, also Laura's dying.
Yeah, Laura's still dying. She's dying very, very slowly. It's really kind of sad.
That's the annoying way to die, honestly.
That's what I've heard.
It's just, slowly dying.
Slowly, painfully dying. It's what happens to Wolverines when they lose their power. They slowly, painfully die.
And then they're good again, and then they have another clone.
Eventually they'll get their powers back and there will be another one that gets created. Yeah, it happens.
And then another one will survive yet again to another apocalypse scenario. Exactly.
All right. Anything else then?
Nope.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Love you too.
So I guess the big question, Carrie, would you take the antidote to the Spintex serum and lose or regain your ability to talk to cats? Yet you would be made out of yarn? It's a tough question, isn't it?
All right, let's do shout-out time. We like to recognize those listeners that take the time to write in or leave us a review. And this is for episode 158, Avengers Academy number 32, What the Heart Wants, Part 1.
Al Sedano and their podcast, Resurrections, and Adam Warlock and Thanos Podcast.
Hoover Jeremiah.
Jeff Polier.
Jeremy Daw, who says, Hey there, guys. I just listened to the episode, and it was quite great, as always. I dug the deep cut to Bloom County. Did you gents know that Berkeley Breathed Bloom County has been publishing brand new stories intermittently over the last few years? Yes, I did. It got me to find the original run of trades at a pre-owned bookstore in Cape Girardeau. Keep up the great episodes. Thank you very much, Jeremy.
We'll try our best.
We also like to thank those wonderful people who give us money to do this lovely show that we do. And those are people that give us a little bit of cash over on Patreon. And I'm talking about adorably astonishing and amazing Andrew Burns.
Cheerfully cheeky and charming Char Logan.
Challenging cheesy and chuckling Charles Gears.
Destructive and devastatingly delightful Damian Witter.
Dynamically dangerous and devious Doug Jones.
Intelligent, interesting, and innovative Isaac Perry.
Jesting, joking, and jovial Jeff Bollier.
Just jealous and jeweled Jeremy Daw.
Muscly, mighty, and meticulous Matthew Birdsey.
Mythical and magnificent monologuing Matthew Laserwitz.
Steely, salty, and steamy Sailor Bear Zodar.
Sad and sickeningly silly Shag Matthews.
Tyrannically terrifying and tame Tim Price.
Way wordy and wobbly Waffles.
Weird and wonderfully wacky Win.
Next issue, we are going to cover Avengers Academy issue number 36. Final Exam, Part 3.
We have a new feature that we are showing over on our website, Jeff and Rick Present. We're having a comic strip that my daughter is drawing that we publish every other week now. So please check out our website, jeffandrickpresent.wordpress.com, and look for Tales of Tales.
And we have some merchandise available on Redbubble. Go to redbubble.com and search for Unpacking the Power of Power Pack.
Jeff and Rick Present is a bi-weekly self-produced podcast recorded in front of a live studio audience of an almost empty box of tissues in Portland, Oregon. If you would like to interact with us through the magic of the internet, you can do so through Blue Sky at Jeff and Rick Present, our Facebook page, Jeff and Rick Present, our email address, jeffandrickpresent, all one word, at gmail.com, or at our website, jeffandrickpresent.wordpress.com. Also, we've got a YouTube channel at Jeff and Rick Present.
And if you would like to help support our show, we are on Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com, Jeff and Rick Present, all one word. We are also a proud supporter of the Hero Initiative, and we'll be donating 10% of our Patreon donations to this great cause. We encourage everyone to give what they can to this worthwhile organization that helps the creators who provide us with such great content. Go to heroinitiative.org to find out more.
Please rate and review us wherever you can. Tell your friends about us or share your love for us on social media.
And as always, we want to thank the powerful people in our packs.
My wife Cindy and our daughter Carrie.
My fiancée Hillary and our daughter Aurora. We love you. Until next time. Costumes off.
Our theme music is 80s Action by Kevin Cloud. Also featured in this episode is Rise of Legends by Sasha Ende. All music is found at acoptic.com and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license.
Editors, Joe Moyson, Joe Roseman. Oh, yeah, that's an N. That's a fun little letter.
Zit.
The Enchantress wants Branda to help her rehearse, sending out more cues that she is really not the boldest. The bulbest?
Zit.
Dust provides a quick expedition dump and offers up the vial.
Exposition. Expedition would be something different.
Dust provides a quick exposition